somebody was kindly asking me about, what about saddlebags? Could you do a video on that? And I thought for a moment, and I realized that as a trainer, we were pretty much taught to use the NASM protocol. That's pretty much the dominant solution because it's tackling every single exercise protocol from an intrinsic place from the inside out. Great programs, NASM, great educations. But sometimes it causes people to overthink the remedy. And if you look at a variety of elite trainers, those who get results with their clients, you're going to see one commonality. And they may have all these sort of highbrow derivative exercises that appear to give more focus on angle. And so to kind of draw this back toward the initial question is, you have the saddlebags, which is like that bursal area, the tensor fasciae lata, the glute medius, it's in the frontal plane, right? I mean, everything from ice skaters to side bridges with kicks, right? To abduction exercises, spending time on the multi-hip. But the truth is that, this is the pattern that most new trainers would get stuck in. And most people look at a problem, right? It really is something of a mathematical solution or equation or how people approach this. Is like, you look at the problem, you identify the problem, you go straight to the problem, and all you end up doing is really exacerbating the problem, right? And then what would happen is most people would just stick one of their clients on an extreme fat loss program that seems to work during the day. Back in the 90s, that would have been cut out every bit of fat and focus in on something like Colbert Bailey's or Perdican type diet, which there's nothing wrong with that, right? That's like a 90s type. It just depends on the calories and the exact percentage between the type of carbohydrates you're taking in, anything from, the simpler giving yourself treats, taking in predominantly complex carbohydrates that have enough fiber sources in them, and then taking in, adequate amounts of fat and spreading out those fats among, omega-3, other healthy fatty acids, and so forth, right? So the best way to create this recomposition is to focus on building muscle mass in a particular area, to get more blood flow going in that area, to establish capillary bed density, and to take it very seriously, this art of recomposition. You've got more fat cells in an area because there's not enough blood flow. You've got fat composite in a particular area, and usually this is of a genetic propensity. I assume it's a female, but it's not always female. I mean, I've known a lot of males that actually have this issue where they store their lower body dominant. The typical person, when asked where they store the most, it would be, the lower abdomen, the visceral fat. So we know that we want to cut down on organ fat, liver fat, and we know that there's a huge correlation between said fat that's stored in the viscera, subcutaneous fat, and organ fat, that they're synonymous with one another. I myself ran into an issue that I never thought I would, where I was getting that man boob or that side boob, and slowly I'm working on it and I'm seeing that I'm making headway. What's causing this? Just like the remedy for replacing, or really, it really is replacing. It's replacing over time. If you look at the cause and the effect, and you look at the fat density and the number of fat cells and the accumulation in a particular area, right? Here are the saddlebags. And then say you were to fast forward to the remedy where you have this before and after, and you have this nicely chiseled vastus lateralis, and right around the bursal area, the tensor fasciae lata, the glute medius is popping, right? You didn't get there by just predominantly doing exercises. In fact, for that particular area, in fact, that would be something that you would add on as the icing on the cake, so to speak, near the end to really identify, right, that this area is highly defined, highly trained, and you're showcasing it at that point. But what really got you to that area is learning how to do the Valsalva hold, learning how to do heavy squats, right? And this doesn't have to be in the traditional way where you just do a barbell squat. But if you look at most trainers that are successful with themselves and they're successful with their clients, they are doing the really basic exercises on their own, the boring exercises. And that's really why you'll